G'day subscribers, today we're going to talk about picking parts. You're with Jules Knight on Jive Talking Garage. So last week, Lachlan and I headed south, halfway between Newcastle and Sydney, and it was really important to get an early start. So at the moment, my wife starts early, so she's leaving the house at some ungodly hour. So I was up and off. We had the Commodore had just been serviced, and the trailer had two spares that I put in it. Spare wheels. So Lachlan came with me for a bit of company and for a bit of a drive and stuff like that. And not only that, we had not had that car on a big drive before, so it was good to take the Commodore on a cruise. So it's an SV6, nice large size sedan. So no, that was really good. 6-cylinder, 6-speed manual. So it was a pleasure to drive. So I had a reasonably new box trailer, an 8x5 with that's caged that we use, and so we were up and off. And so it was an early start. We got a bit of mist over the Pacific Highway when we were heading towards just over the border, actually, as we were heading towards Byron Bay and so on. Now, the reason we were going down there is little Anthony had said to us that I know where there's some really good parts. I've actually bought some things from a seller. He actually has quite a decent sized stock, and he wants to get rid of the lot. And you're about the only guy I know that deals in that type of quantity. So, so I just thought, okay, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We'll hook up the trailer, and off Lachlan and I can. So we headed off, and some of the experience that you have as you're going along, particularly on really more summer days than a lovely May day, we actually had a blowout. The sidewall of one of the tyres on the trailer just blew out to the side. It wasn't swerving all over the road and those sorts of things. It just immediately went down, and I spotted it in the mirror straight away. And as the good Lord would have it, within 100 metres, there appeared an alcove that we could safely pull off the road and put one of the spares on. One spare was better than the other. But then it was really a thought process. I just said to Lachlan, okay, so if that one's blown out and they're exactly the same age, well, it's a case of we should head into Coffs Harbour and see what tyre places are there. And as it turned out, we actually ended up going to Maxville, and then we phoned ahead. The power of Google, you just look up tyres and the town itself, and we tried a few other places and they didn't have anything. And so, sorry, I'm giving Trevor a pat as I'm talking. So we were able to get some trailer tyres in Maxville, but the problem is, whenever you're going somewhere, whether it be travelling for leisure or travelling for, in this case, work or whatever, as soon as you actually have to stop and you are, time's at large and you are reliant on the people where you are, well, you can burn a couple of hours easy. And that's precisely what happened. And people think, oh, yeah, it's only on the way going down there. I'm losing a couple of hours here. Yeah, it'll be fine. But what it means is those 2 hours there are going to be added to the 2 hours coming home. So, look, long story short, we we got to our destination. I'm trying to pull his tail. And we got to our destination in the late afternoon. And as it turned out, I had a couple of phone calls after we had done our introductions. And so what I did was I just engaged with the man who was selling, and in the spirit of just being open without any issue, I looked at what was there. Now, I'd seen the photos, so I had a pretty good idea of the volume and also probably the worth, the worth that I thought, yeah, because some of the members that we have, all of their stuff is pristine and it's in packets and it's behind glass and, their cabinets there and they've got them all on display and all that sort of stuff. But this wasn't like that. Well, only two of the items were. This was a case of just a lot of spare parts. And so it was a matter of doing the negotiation with the man, and he was really good to engage with. Certainly from the perspective of he had some FX stuff there and he had a motor there and a gearbox. And as far as motors go, it's really hard. You don't know whether you've got a $10 boat motor or a $1,500 engine. So that's very, very difficult to actually put a price on that. So in some instances, I was thinking about it. I said, okay, well, look, I'm not really interested in the FX parts that are there, that are FX only. And you could keep your gearbox and you could keep your motor because the gearbox looks seized and the motor, I really, you're saying you were told it was good. I don't know the person that told you it was good. And you're only taking their word for it and I'm taking your word for their word. And yeah. So anyway, I gave him a value on that. And we weren't too far apart, but like a lot of things, sometimes you just got to, and Australians are people that like a gentleman's agreement and to meet in the middle. So if I'm at, let's just pick two numbers. If I'm at $7,000 and you're at $8,000, 10 will get you 20, that we're going to cut a deal at 7,500, say. But I just said to the gentleman, and he was humming and hawing a little bit, and don't forget, a lot of people are not necessarily used to negotiating, and I'm not talking about the dickering of price. I'm just talking about the being put on the spot or the in your face what the number is. They want a number and the buyer doesn't want to pay their number. Now, so I gave him a number that was close, that I was comfortable with for the parts that I was comfortable with. Anyway, he wasn't over the line. So you've got to be mentally agile. And I just said to him, I'll tell you what, Lachlan and I will just go get a cold drink. We'll go down to the beach. We'll give you half an hour or whatever to think about it. And long story short, that takes the tension out of the situation, because people don't like being closed on. And so, hello, Trevor. You're saying hello to everybody. Yeah, well, let me finish. Anyway, so long story short, Lachlan and I just went for a little drive. We just drove around this country coastal town. And now I knew from negotiations previously, when I used to do it for the government, if I phoned you, you were going to accept my price. If you phoned me, you were pretty much going to give me the bid. So there's a bid, my bid, and your offer, when there's two different prices. So if you phoned me, you were going to accept the lower price. If I phoned you, I was going to accept the high price. Anyway, so he did that. He phoned me. And so, look, he said, oh, look, yeah, okay, that's fine. I said, well, hang on a minute. Let's try and be creative in this. I said to him, look, you've got a couple of other items there. Well, there was three, actually. One was a tow bar for an FJ FX ute or an FJ panel van, and it was solid and substantial. Really, really solid. I've never seen anyone like it before. But anyways, there was a couple of other things, a sun visor and a really nice ruby red horn button. And I said, look, if those items are in, how about I give you 100% of what you're asking for? So we'd moved the marker. So we had the anchor for my price, the anchor for his price. And so where he'd given me my bid, we actually moved the price up to what he was asking for, the seller was asking for. But I got a whole lot more value thrown in for things that I want to put on my car and things that I can have in stock to sell. So from that perspective, it was really good and actually an end result that was really successful. And he was happy. And he said, oh, look, I'm nearly tempted to accept that, actually. Really, yeah. I said, well, look, you want to get out of it. And sometimes they just need a little push at the end. And so I just said, look, you want to get out of it. I'm interested in taking the parts off your hands. You've got no need for them. So actually, two things. They're of no worth to you because you can't use them. And secondly, this would just give you money to use for other things. He said, okay, that sounds fine to me. So from that perspective, he said, oh, come and get them. So we were like 5 minutes away. So it was a matter of, I said to him, well, if you can just take your Jaguar out, please, and just allow us to get the trailer all the way down, that would be really good. So we were able to back the trailer all the way down to his garage, and we went a little bit too far, actually, because we had to put Granddad's ramps out to get the motor, which was on a dolly, onto the trailer. So all's well that ends well. So it was a matter of loading up, hitting Newcastle for dinner time, and then getting along the way. Now, New South Wales is really good now as you're travelling along the new Pacific Highway for two things. Firstly, the Pacific Highway is excellent. 2008, there was still, there was a big start under, Kevin 07, putting in a lot of infrastructure projects and spending money in the economy and improving the road system. So that was really good. But secondly, and probably more importantly, every few kilometres, I would see a parking bay on the side of the freeway, on the motorway, for two semi-trailers. And so this was, a driver reviver station. But every 30 kilometres or so, there was a whole recreation area with amenities that was well lit with a lot of renewable energy. You could see all the solar panels everywhere. So I found myself coming home and I started blinking, and you think, oh, the next thing's micro sleeps and stuff like that. So you really want to pull over, and that's precisely what I did. I thought, okay, wind the window down, get myself awake. I know Lockie'd been having a bit of a sleep for a while, but the thing is, I was still alert. But I thought, I want to get to a well-lit place. I want to be able to make sure they've got amenities there, and I want to have lots of people around me. So then it was a case of, just going in and having a bit of a wash, and then coming out and reclining the seat and putting central locking on and just having a sleep. So in my case, I just thought, well, it doesn't matter whether I sleep for 40 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or whatever. When I wake up, I'll just go and wash my face again, and we'll go. And that's precisely what we did. I think I was out of it for about an hour or so. And then we were back on the highway and heading up to Brisbane. And so we got home about 4 a.m. The next morning. And so it was a pretty big day. But, we've got an awful lot of parts for stock and for things for me to clean up. So, I've already made 2 sales actually. So of people needing things. That's really important to be able to help members. So, we're just going to get on now and do all that. And it was a successful pick. But we'll put a few photos up so people can see, the types of things to look out for and what we did. So, that way it gives them a bit of an idea. So if you haven't been on a pick before, don't be scared. I most certainly said to the fellow, I don't want to come in and pick the eyes out of things, because people can think, oh, well, you're taking advantage of me, coming in and picking, all the good things and leaving me with the rubbish. That sometimes gets people's goat up. So it was really important from my perspective of just coming in and either doing a couple of options, taking only the FJ stuff or taking everything, and what wasn't FJ is my problem. So that helps me, because you get that part of it as a discount, because it's not worth to you, but it is worth. So always remember, the sum of the parts is worth more than the sum of the whole. So I learned that from my tradesman, Simon Mathis, many, many years ago. So hope you've enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to pop by Facebook and see what we're doing at Jive Talking Garage. So today we've just talked about the pick, how we got some parts from New South Wales, halfway between Newcastle and Sydney. We want to thank one of our members, Anthony, for his help. Everything turned out fine. And the most important thing is Lachlan and I got home safely. We did an honourable negotiation with our seller. Everything turned out fine. He was happy. We were happy. We've been able to get stuff to help members. And the more important thing is we've got some things to show you on our YouTube channel. As I said, have a look at the Facebook page. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. Take care. And don't forget, enjoy your holding.